Welcome back to Nampa, Idaho, everybody. We get ready for the NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship. The home team, Northwest Nazarene, taking on the Pilots of Bethel College. The Pilots, coached by Mike Lightfoot in his 8th year. 234 and 65 overall, Sean McCall. Bethel with the best record in college basketball, any division, any classification, at 37 and 2, riding a school record 15-game winning streak coming into this national championship game.
Some teams play well at the beginning of the year, some at the end of the year. This team's played well all season long. They start the year with 15 wins. They're trying to finish the year with 16 wins in a row. They're playing awfully well right now.
Looking for a school record, looking for a national championship as we take a look at the starting lineups for tonight. For Bethel, it'll be Mark Galloway starting at one guard, the 6'3 senior from Plainfield, Indiana. Mike Miller, a 6'4 junior from Goshen, Indiana, at the other guard. Vaughn Gilbert, who has set a tournament record for rebounds in just 4 games here in this National Basketball Championship. He'll start at one forward, the 6'8 junior from South Bend. The other forward will be Randy Romer, a 6'3 sophomore from LaGrange, Indiana. And Jody Goralski, the All-American 6'5 senior from South Bend, will be in the middle. For NNC, starting at the guards, 6'1 junior Roy Garcia, All-Cascade Conference selection from Grandview, Washington. Tony Shoemaker, 6'1 sophomore guard from Kennewick, Washington, at the other guard. Chad Herron, 6'4 junior from Pasco, Washington, a one forward. And Trevor Scott, a 6'5 junior from Kennewick, Washington, at the other forward. And the All-American for NNC, Amiko Atete, the 6'5 senior from London, England. He is the all-time steals leader in this NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship. And if you have not seen Amiko Atete play basketball, you are in for a treat tonight, folks, because this guy, he may be 6'5", but he is quick as 5'8 guys.
He'll have to contend, though, tonight with Vaughn Gilbert, the 6'8 junior for Bethel College. Gilbert labeled as the stopper for the Pilots. Well, he'll have to contend with that quickness of the 6'5 Atete. Another matchup I like is Garcia on Galloway for Bethel. Galloway at 6'3", a couple inches taller than Garcia at 6'1", but that's a great matchup all night long.
No question about it there, John, because Roy Garcia coming up with probably the player of the game performance against Eric Klein of Northern State, the All-American, holding him to 11 points, 14 below his average in the NNC semifinal win. National championship just about ready to tip it off here. Amiko Atete for Northwest Nazarene, Vaughn Gilbert for Bethel. And we are underway from the Montgomery Fieldhouse in Nampa, Idaho. Sit back, relax, and enjoy, because I think we're going to have a good one here tonight, folks. Garcia kicking it back out to Herron. That's Shoemaker with it for the Crusaders. Atete working inside on Goralski. Nowhere to turn. Herron, he likes the three.
He likes to start the ball game off with a three-pointer. In 3 of the 5 games now for NNC, Herron has began the action with a three-pointer.
Ball thrown away inside by Galloway. Atete with the steal. Able to save the pivot foot, and the Crusaders will start the offense.
NNC's the best defensive team in this tourney, limiting their opponent to just 66 points a ball game. It's the heavy man-to-man pressure that we'll see from both sides throughout the action.
The Pilots, #1 offensively, 95 points a game. They averaged 94 coming into this tournament, so they have held to form. Shoemaker on the back door. Goralski with the rebound, but knocked away by Atete. Stott moves inside, shot blocked by Gilbert.
Shot blocking for Gilbert. He also assists, he rebounds. He's a do-it-all player, and he fills the lane on the other end and just can't convert.
Garcia up with it for the Crusaders. Garcia going the other way, kicks it to Atete. Can't hit the jumper, but Shoemaker tips it back out.
For Gilbert, that's his 10th shot block of the tournament. He's getting nearly 2 blocks per ball game.
Had to go with his 15.5 rebounds per contest, which is a tournament record. Garcia from 15.
Mike, he's really the defensive player and the leader on this team, making the right decisions as a point guard, but he can also score. We saw that in the semifinal action as Garcia knocked down 19 points to go along with Shoemaker's 24.
Makes a defensive play there, deflecting the basketball out of bounds. Remain Pilot ball.
NNC has to get back on transition defense. Bethel on a made basket or a miss. They love to come down the floor with a lot of offensive momentum.
5-0 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. Galloway changes that with a three.
Galloway can score from nearly anywhere on the court. He can shoot the three, he can drive, he can stop off a 2-bounce dribble and nail the jumper. You have to be alert.
Shoemaker, who had a huge night in the semifinal win over Northern State, going for 24, 5 of 9 from three-point land. Garcia working baseline. Can't give it there. Stott had the rebound and loses it out of bounds. He and Gilbert will really go at it tonight.
On the defensive end, we don't see Gilbert matched with the Tete. I thought the 6'8" presence of Gilbert, who's a little bit quicker than Goralski, might be the key, but they elect to use a little more physical play and maybe a little more of the body down low with Goralski against the Tete.
5-3 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. Goralski working inside on Stott. He will draw the foul on Trevor Stott, the 6'5" junior, picking up his first.
One thing we saw in the semifinals, Northern State, the Wolves, #1 in the country, and with good reason. They had game plan against NNC, and that was to work it down low. Here we see Bethel go down low, and Goralski is such a horse in the paint. Stott gives up a couple inches. He also gives up some weight, and that was a big difference last night with Jeremy Bleen, who was so strong and got tired. We'll see how the Bethel Pilots endure and last in, 5 games in the course of 6 days now.
Goralski hitting both free throws, 65% for the year, but he has been excellent in this tournament thus far. He ties it up for the Pilots at 5. Heron for another 3. Airballs it. Atete with the save, getting it to Shoemaker for 3. Atete with another board. We're going to have a loose ball foul. Call's going to go on Atete.
Well, that's a tough call and a hustle play. You know, last year in this tournament, Amico Atete, well-deserving and rewarded with the Hustle Award, and he showed it right there, going out of bounds to save, or nearly out of bounds to save the basketball, and then hustling for the rebound. I thought that could have gone either way, both going after the basketball.
He and Galloway colliding on the play. That's a key for the Crusaders, keeping Atete on the floor. Galloway loses the ball, but he goes right to Goralski, who goes inside. Jody Goralski now with 4. And the Pilots take their first lead of this game at 7-5. 7-0 run now for Bethel. Atete working inside. And hit the shot. Goralski loses it out of bounds.
Key for NNC, Amico Atete has picked up 16 fouls now during the course of now 5 ball games. He averages 3 fouls a game. He needs to stay out of foul trouble. He's so valuable for the Crusaders' attack.
Garcia open from 3. Way off.
You can see some of the adrenaline. Heron air balls, Garcia tough miss.
Galloway steps back, can't hit the 3, and Atete with the loose ball.
Bethel doesn't mind coming down, not getting in their set offense. If there's an open shot for a Galloway or a Goralski, players along those lines, they look for it. I didn't see a different ball club. They need to get into their set framework and look for the open shot.
Great play by Miller as he makes the steal. Gilbert goes the other way.
It's a quiet bunch, but there's the Bethel faithful enjoying the moment. This is a 9-0 run after the Crusaders jumped out to a 5-0 lead.
You just got a good glimpse of the way Bethel likes to play basketball. Force the turnover, get the easy bucket the other way. Atete to Stott.
Stott's been a go-to guy. He gives up some weight and height in the middle, but he sacrifices his body, and he comes through. He's a heart and guts guy.
Galloway working inside, knocked away by Atete. Shoemaker up with it for the Crusaders. Shoemaker the other way, dishes to Atete. We're going to have a blocking foul called on Miller. The Bethel bench erupts. But the foul going to go on Mike Miller. He can't believe the call.
I thought that Miller was in position, but it actually looked like Romer from behind might have pushed him. No, that's a great job to take the charge, but you don't get the call when you sacrifice your body.
15:35 remaining in this national championship. Bethel leading NNC 9-7. Played just over 4 minutes of this NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship. You see Bethel with the lead. Crusaders with the basketball, however. Bob Tamaja checking into the lineup for NNC. That's him handling the basketball. Shoemaker trying to get it inside to Atete. Atete moving inside, going up on Gilbert and drawing the foul.
You know, Gilbert slides over right there to take the charge. You get NNC's MVP, if you will, Atete with 2 fouls early on, but instead he elects to try and block the shot. Atete's so quick, he goes strong to the basket. There's Gilbert, number 5, at 6'8", and instead of staying there and holding his ground, a little bit anxious and went for that block.
You can see he was thinking about taking the charge, but then at the last minute decided to go up.
Early on for NNC, just 3 for 11 compared to the 60% shooting of Bethel College. But NNC, 4 offensive rebounds, really hitting the glass on the offensive end to stay in this one.
Atete's first 2 points have knotted it up at 9. Romer working the baseline. Ball knocked away and stolen by Atete. He had 6 steals in the semifinal win over Northern State.
Career steals leader in this tournament.
You see why. He just has incredibly quick hands, quick feet.
And long arms as well. Instincts, too. He knows how to read the lanes.
Shoemaker can't hit it. Atete working hard for the offensive board.
Atete is trying to establish the momentum right now for NNC. Relentless on the boards really everywhere, offensively and defensively.
In his final game here at Montgomery Fieldhouse, and he's come out strong for the Crusaders. NNC leading at 11-9. Galloway going right by Tamango with the left hand, can't hit it, but there's Gilbert with the offensive putback.
A game of spurts so far. It started out 5-0 NNC. Bethel comes back with a 9-0 run, and that basket by Gilbert just snapped a 6-0 run for NNC. I expect that kind of up and down throughout.
Knotted up at 11.
Tamango with the basketball. He's been a key for NNC off the bench, averaging nearly 10 points and 5 rebounds. Great contribution.
Garcia dishes inside to Scott.
Garcia, the all-conference performer. He's doing it all. How about a 4-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio? 25 assists in the tournament, just 6 turnovers.
Galloway coming across the lane, can't hit it. Gilbert with the offensive rebound. They get it back to Romer, who goes in and hits it.
Long rebound right there. Nice job blocking out, but on the carom, it came deep into the lane. And when you're active and you're staying with it, tipping the basketball, you get rewarded with breaks like that.
See why Von Gilbert has set a tournament record for rebounding, even though he was blocked out on the play, able to get those long arms in there and make the play. Garcia's open from 3. Can't hit the shot. Gilbert with the board.
This is where Bethel's tough in transition.
Miller will try a 3. Tamango with the rebound for NNC.
You can see Bethel doesn't mind coming down, 1 pass, 1 shot, jack it up, and come down and see how you react defensively.
We talk so much about Bethel's offense, but they're outstanding defensively as well, holding teams to just an average of 72.5 points a game. Garcia driving all the way in.
Garcia can really read the defense, especially driving to his right and breaking down the defense on the dribble. He does know how to finish.
Crusaders have been eating up the Pilots defensively on the dribble penetration between Shoemaker and Garcia. Crusaders by 2. Galloway gets open on the baseline for an easy deuce.
Little miscommunication there. Atete had his back turned. Tamango got beat on the pass, and Galloway, the quick move to the hoop. It's an up and down ball game for NNC. I think they'd like to slow it down a little bit and get more into their set offense and maybe let the crowd get more into it.
Tempo is definitely in favor of Bethel right now, although the score is tired. Atete working inside.
Knifing through the defense. The spin move, again, the quick feet.
Atete with 6. The lead back to NNC in this seesaw affair as we've played just about 8 minutes of this first half. Koralski lost it inside. Shoemaker thought about running it up. Instead tries to go inside to Stott and throws it away.
Really no need for that pass. 3 of the NNC players hadn't really gotten into the flow.
Romer lost it out of bounds. Could have gotten a foul late, but he lost control of the ball first, and that's why Randy Romer, looking at the official the way he is. Turnover will give it back to Northwest Nazarene. 11:48 remaining in our first half of play. Crusaders on top of Bethel, 17-15. Back at Montgomery Fieldhouse, we'll take a look at that last play where Romer going out of bounds. You can see he loses the basketball there right before Garcia hacked him, so a bit of a break for NNC.
Garcia riding along that backside there, ready to use that left hand, instead didn't have to. The ball got away.
5 turnovers thus far for Bethel. They trail it by 2. Those both teams not going really deep in the bench, although Bethel has brought in Rico Swanson, the 5'10 freshman from South Bend, Indiana. Shoemaker can't hit the three. There's Tamanja for the rebound. Todd Shoemaker, Tony's brother, with that three-point attempt.
Again, though, Tamanja is so valuable. He does all those little things. And his heart and intensity in the semifinal game really carried NNC when some of their players and their shooting was down last night.
Tamanja from 12 feet, cans it.
When he comes into the game, he creates, and things happen. One of those players.
Very aggressive player is Tamanja. Shoemaker nearly forcing the steal, but there's Goralski inside.
Heads-up play by Swanson, the freshman point guard, lost the dribble, fell to the floor, but still had the clarity to find the open man for the assist in the basket.
NNC leading at 19-17. Tamanja's open.
Using the glass, he practiced that shot all the time. Come down, you fake the defensive player, you get open, you have to bury it. Tamanja does.
Tamanja, a player on the Northwest Nazarene soccer team. In addition to his basketball duties, Swanson working inside over Atete.
Swanson in the semifinal game, the freshman had 20 points off the bench, 9 of 11 field goals, and he was nearly unstoppable off the dribble. Todd Shoemaker is going to have his hands full with the crafty Swanson.
You see Swanson, his influence there as he knocked the ball away from Tamanja, tried to get it back out. Goralski with the steal. Pilots in the break. Miller will kick it back. Galloway for three. Airballs it. Ball bounces around. It's going to be tied up down on the floor between Gilbert and Stott. Possession arrow. Referees looking at each other. Possession arrow in favor of Bethel, I do believe, and it is going to be Pilot basketball.
Somewhat like a fumble right there. The key is, especially if you don't have possession, get down on the floor and make sure that you at least tie up the basketball and look toward the possession arrow. But it was Stott who got down and dirty there.
Some of the Redheads here in attendance at Montgomery Fieldhouse. Crusaders leading Bethel 21-19. Sam Obermeyer checking into the game for Bethel. In addition to Jeff Clay, Gilbert on the inbound play, hitting it, falling away.
Vaughn Gilbert is a do-it-all player, but he doesn't look to score first. He looks to pass and create first, and scoring almost second nature to him. Top rebounder in the tournament.
Pilots do look to him off that inbound play, however. He scored 4 times against William Jewell, specifically off the inbound play. Tamanja lost the ball out of bounds. Turnover will give it back to Bethel.
At 6'8", the ability to jump and go after one, the ability to get open. Vaughn Gilbert, not a bad option.
Tamanja will check out. Chad Herron, the 6'4" junior, will check back in.
So far, Bethel has done a terrific job to stay in it and basically keep the crowd somewhat subdued. It's going to be a favorite to NNC based on this Montgomery Fieldhouse madhouse.
Swanson penetrating, throwing it away, however. Herron tried to go back to Shoemaker, but was knocked out of bounds. Crusaders got a bit of a break there. That could have easily been picked off.
Bethel with 6 turnovers already. They average 18 turnovers in this tournament, which is, in a national championship, you need to take care of the basketball a little bit better. NNC, conversely, only 12 turnovers a game, and I think that showed. Got to take care of the basketball.
Crusader defense forcing an average 17 a game, so that will be a factor we'll keep our eye on. Aaron nearly throwing it away.
New look right here, the trapping defense.
Shoemaker open for 3.
When you trap, sometimes on a cross-court pass, you give up an open shot. That's a great job to work the basketball.
Ball knocked away and stolen by Herron. Ferguson getting it. Joe Ferguson checking in the lineup. Herron thought about the 3 and said we'll back it out.
Herron's the guy that when he gets loose and starts flinging threes up, look out. I think, though, that was a smart decision to bring it back out, get set in the offense, and stay within the tempo. If it comes up and down, it favors Bethel. If you slow it up, and with the TV timeout, that should give the edge to NNC.
Crusaders leading at 24-21. Shoemaker inside, can't hit a battle for the loose ball. We're going to have a loose ball foul. Be called on Trevor Stott of Northwest Nazarene for Stott, his second personal.
Shoemaker, who's had such a great tournament, having a slow night right now, but this is a guy coming in averaging 20 points a game. He's had 24 twice in the contest. Guards were a big factor in the semifinals. The post players may be more important tonight in the long run for NNC. We'll have to wait and see.
Stott will have to go to the bench for the 2 fouls. Atete checks back in. Todd Shoemaker knocking the ball away from Swanson. Pilots will still get it underneath.
Good hands right there, but again, the dribble penetration, that quickness of Swanson. I don't think NNC has anybody to control his quickness off the dribble.
Inbounds to Gilbert. Off glass, and he gets it to fall. There's something about that inbounds play. He gets the ball, the basket follows.
He studied some geometry. What a tough angle that was. Used the glass, maybe didn't have to, but still had it fall.
Pilots draw within one. Gilbert with 8 points to lead the way. Tony Shoemaker for three. Got clobbered afterwards, no call. Pilots going the other way.
Nice job getting back on defense for NNC.
Obermeyer.
NNC primarily a man-to-man defensive team.
Swanson pulling up for the outside jumper, can't hit it in Todd. Shoemaker with the rebound. Shoemaker got into trouble there. You can see the quickness of the Pilots forcing the turnover. Then NNC comes right back and knocks the ball away. Obermeyer coming up with it for Bethel. He'll take a 15-footer. Can't get the roll. Battle for the loose ball. And it's helter-skelter right now.
NNC can use the possession to slow things down. Find Atete. Get him more involved down low.
Atete with a real quickness advantage over Obermeyer. Crusaders should look to exploit that. Hot Shoemaker for three. Can't get it in. Miller with a rebound.
Instead, NNC going the outside route.
Clay will try one from the baseline. He can't hit it, and Heron with the board.
It's a tough time for Bethel without Gorowski, without Galloway. Trying to do it with a substitute. Their bench in this tournament averaging 23.5 points a game. Granted, it's been against lesser competition and not in a game of this magnitude, but the bench has performed.
Great play by Miller as he gets the steal up ahead to Swanson. Ball knocked away by Shoemaker. He'll draw the foul. Swanson, I thought, took it a little easy there towards the end, gave Shoemaker an opportunity to get the foul.
Allowed the defender to catch up, and instead of getting the layup and maybe a three-point play if he fouls you going up, smart play by Todd Shoemaker to make sure Swanson doesn't get that basket. Hard foul from behind, but also when you foul the right arm, which would have been leading toward the layup, you make sure the ball doesn't follow its way to the hoop.
Rico Swanson, 5'10" freshman, South Bend, Indiana, attended Clay High School, all-state basketball, football,
and baseball. He's a three-sport star and a real athlete. This guy was all-state defensive back, chose to go to Bethel. He sat out last year and redshirted. So when we talked yesterday in the semifinals as an 18-year-old, he's a 19-year-old freshman, and you can see some of his experience and composure.
But he misses both free throws there. He struggled from the line this season, just 68% from the charity stripe. NNC still holding on to the lead as we approach the 6-minute mark remaining in this first half.
Good to see Garcia back in the game for NNC. Todd Shoemaker had some struggles with the basketball. This Bethel team quick with their hands, and they react well to screens. Good help defense.
Kicks it inside to Atete. Goes up inside, hits the bucket. They wave it off. Offensive foul on Atete.
Boy, is that a big call. I thought a nice acting job underneath. Atete did lean on the shot. It was a pump fake and a step toward the basket. If you're smart there, you shoot the fadeaway, but Atete's a guy that goes more to the hoop.
Second foul on Atete, 5:43 remaining in this first half. Crusaders by 1. Welcome back, everyone. Take a look at that second foul on Atete, Sean.
I'd like the position there, but by the same token, the snap of the head going back, that deserves at least a partial academy. Huge foul. It's the second on Atete, and it takes him out of the ballgame.
Ferguson will now have to guard Gorowski. Gorowski can't hit it. Swanson just taking it inside away from Stott. And you see the contribution that this 5'10" freshman has made throughout this tournament. He just makes the big plays when the Pilots need it most, and he gives Bethel the lead.
He's an inspiration. He doesn't start, but he comes in, and with his minutes and contribution, treats that substitution really as a starter.
Usually ends up with more minutes, too. Shoemaker for three.
Don't let Shoemaker square his shoulders to the basket. When he is set up in a line to the hoop, He can shoot with the best of 14 for 27 coming in from three.
Goralski going right around Ferguson on the block for the easy two.
Throughout this tournament, when Atete is out of the ball game, the opponent has taken advantage of that against NNC. It seems like there's a spark from whoever is playing down low. Atete's out, they react and start scoring.
Tied up at 27. Aaron nearly losing it as the pressure from Miller nearly forced that turnover. Shot clock now at 10. Aaron will try a three.
Aaron's the school record holder this year, 92 threes during the regular season. His second three-pointer of the night to give the Crusaders that three-point cushion.
Aaron knocking the ball out of bounds away from Miller. That's one thing with Aaron. If he spots up and has a good look, chances are it's going to fall because he is very accurate, 40% from three-point land.
And when he gets going, sometimes his shot selection or shooting when he isn't hot becomes a downfall for him. But when he starts getting in rhythm, you better find a way to put a hand up. He'll sling it from anywhere.
Gilbert checking back to the lineup for the Pilots as well as Galloway.
Ferguson at 6'7", out of the lineup. It's the freshman Snyder down low.
Inbounds pass to Gilbert, nearly hit the alley-oop. Snyder with the rebound. Seth Snyder, a freshman from Boise, Idaho, now in the lineup for the Crusaders.
But again, looking for Gilbert on the inbounds. It seems like it's one of their main options. Gilbert, and then who's next? But you look for him first on the inbound. Look at the pressure defense. Great job by Bethel. Known for their offense, but they didn't get here accidentally. This team plays great defense as well, really extending on NNC.
Well, when you outscore your opponents by an average of 22 a game, you have to play great defense. Pass forced by Snyder, the freshman. Turnover gives it to Bethel.
It's a bad decision, but inexperience shows right there. Snyder's going to have his hands full against Goralski.
Goralski going inside and getting the easy bucket. You see the loss of Amico Atete already on this NNC team, and the fact that Goralski has had 4 quick points.
Snyder can't contain Goralski with his size.
Shoemaker will try a 15-footer. Can't hit it. Snyder fighting for the loose ball. Goes inside for the putback.
Boy, is that a great job by the freshman. I said inexperience on the previous play comes back and shows that youth sometimes does prevail.
Miller driving to the bucket and hits.
The spin move, and guess what? You're in the air. You better shoot it.
Less than 3 minutes remaining in our first half. NNC leading Bethel by 1.
Swanson really holding up on Garcia.
Stott working inside on Gilbert.
Looked like Stott got away with a travel, and Gilbert, just with his hands up, wants to avoid the foul. Good aggressive play by Stott, though, to notice that and further the play.
Stott has 2 fouls as well, so while Gilbert trying to avoid it, Stott has to be careful not to get his 3rd. Swanson open from 3 and buries it.
I want to see this freshman in 3 years when he's a senior, when he's doing this at the national tournament, just a freshman. He's been sweet in the semis and doing it tonight in the finals.
7 points off the bench, and he has tied it up for the Pilots. 2:18 remaining. It's tied at 34. .218 to go in our first half of play. Rico Swanson, the difference, as he has 7 points off the bench. 2 of them coming here.
That looked like it was intended, did it not? The handoff to the fullback. He played some football. He's had a great game so far. They're shooting 57% as a team, nearly 58. And part of it, the shot's down low.
Aaron open from 3. Ball was deflected. They're going to call the foul on Miller. Boy, that was a late whistle.
Miller looked like he got a lot of ball, and he's not happy with the call. A look of somewhat disgust, started to say, I didn't touch him. But Heron will get 3 looks at the free throw line.
Miller picking up his 2nd personal as Ferguson will check back into the lineup, coming in for Stott. 1:57 remaining in our first half. Miller just can't believe that call. Frankly, I cannot either, because that whistle came well after the shot.
Oddly enough, you never see the offensive player argue with that official. You just take the call and walk casually to the line, maybe even adjust your elbow or your hand as if you've been hit.
Lay low, that's the key. Aaron, 1 out of 2 thus far at the free throw line. He has 7 points, averaging 12.5 a game.
but ironically hadn't attempted a free throw in 4 tournament games until those 3.
Only hits 1 out of 3, so the lead is just 1 for the Crusaders. Swanson penetrating inside.
The dribble drive from the freshman, you either better have help ready or somehow turn him and get help there to be ready once you turn him, because he's not stopped right now.
Are we sure he's just a freshman? Aaron, open from 3.
It's funny, if you made the free throw line 19-9, Heron might shoot even better from the line. He's deadly from that mark.
3 3-pointers tonight. He had 5 earlier in this tournament in the second round win over St. Thomas Aquinas in New York. Galloway will try a 3 way off. Rebound coming out to Heron. 38-36 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. You see time remaining in our first half.
Bethel College hasn't scored less than 45 points. They've scored as much as 54.5. This tempo really suits NNC.
Heron for 3. Can't hit that one, and Gilbert with a rebound. Pilots on the break. Galloway, the dish to Swanson, and loses it to Garcia.
3-on-1, bad decision making.
They blew a 3-on-1 break. Snyder the other way. Can't hit it.
Great job by Garcia to push.
Galloway kicking it out to Swanson. The dipsy-do inside, can't hit a battle for the loose ball, and it'll be lost by the Crusaders. It'll be Pilot basketball.
Without Emiko Atete, sometimes you see, whether it's Ferguson or Snyder, some of those post players not making the best decision. And decision-making, especially at a championship ball game, key to a victory, paramount to the success.
32.6 seconds remaining. There's Gilbert on the inbounds. Won't try the shot this time, though. They're looking for Goralski.
It's physical underneath. Goralski and Ferguson.
Miller went in. The pass went out. Turnover gives it back to NNC, where they'll probably squeeze this possession for the final shot of the first half, leading it by 2.
No doubt about it. You set up for one shot. Who are your options? In this sequence, surprised that Shoemaker's not in, but you want to look for Garcia and/or Heron on a kick out. Dribble drive, create the numbers game, and kick it out.
You almost bet it'll be Tamanjo or Garcia handling the basketball. That's Tamanjo with it now. Time ticking down. Garcia with it. Garcia kicking inside, kicks it to Snyder.
It's a great look and a strong finish by the freshman Snyder.
Time ticking away. Miller to Gilbert for 3, and he buries it. What a shot from Vaughn Gilbert. That had to have been 35 feet out.
The big guy can do it all. He shows his versatility right there. He knew the situation, knew the clock, knocked it down. What a sweet stroke for Vaughn Gilbert.
40-39 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. A tremendous first half of basketball. When we come back, we'll go to halftime activities here at the Montgomery Fieldhouse and take a review of this first half of play of this NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. Mike Boyle along with Sean McCall as we're just about ready to get underway in the second half of action. We were talking during the break, Sean, that tempo will really be the factor here in the second half. The first 5 minutes could tell it all.
Tempo's the key, but also can NNC control that shooting percentage? Bethel on the year, one of the top field goal percentage shooting teams in the country. They're doing it again tonight. They've done it all tournament. If they get under 50%, I think NNC will get a win tonight. If not, look out, they can score.
Both clubs are back on the floor getting ready for the second half. Steve Boussalaki's had a chance to talk with both coaches and their impressions of the first half. Let's go back down to Steve.
Thanks, guys. Just had a more in-depth conversation with Mike Lightfoot, the head coach from Bethel College. His feelings on this are quite simple. They are concerned about NNC's perimeter shooting. We talked about Tony Shoemaker and some of his shooting. That is a problem as far as they're concerned. They want to try to prevent NNC from shooting the ball so well. Conversely, on the other side of the ball, I talked with Rich Sanders, assistant basketball coach at NNC. Same type of concerns. Bethel College shot 56% in the first half. That is a major concern. They're going to have to play a little bit more aggressive on defense, and they don't want to get into a running match up and down the court with Bethel College. That's not what NNC wants to see happen in this particular basketball game. Some thoughts from both of the coaching staffs, and let's see those strategies work out in the second 20 minutes, the final 20 minutes of the NAIA Division II National Men's Basketball Championship. Back to Mike and Sean.
All right, thank you very much, Steve. And I would imagine those were the things we would expect they would talk about going into the locker room. And it seemed like Bethel was on the verge at a number of times in the first half of just setting things on fire, but then NNC would regather itself. A lot of timeouts in championship games like this, and I think that's going to play a factor in the second half as well as far as tempo is concerned, because Bethel, they like to get it up and down the floor, but with as much timeouts as you see in a national championship game, that can really interrupt the flow.
These teams not used to the television coverage, which grants you the stop and play, I think, as you mentioned, has to favor NNC. It slows the game down. It doesn't let Bethel get into their transition game and keep that heavy offensive pressure. Bethel's been cruising for the most part in this tournament. A team that's been outscoring their opponents by nearly 20 points a game. They were up 29 in the semifinals. They allowed William Jewell to cut it to 9 at the final buzzer. It's a team that can hold on, but they need to maintain their offensive aggressiveness. We'll just have to wait and see how it plays out.
Look at what Bethel has done in the first 4 rounds of this tournament. The fewest points they have scored was their second round win over Lewis and Clark College of Oregon. 85 points in that victory. Northwest Nazarene used to playing a little closer to the vest defensive game. Their last 2 contests against Willamette and Northern State, they scored a total of 69 and 67 points.
Prior to the tournament, NNC 2-5 when they scored in the 60s. The past 2 ball games, both games in the 60s. The win went to NNC. They're playing better in the tight situation, but it helps when you're playing at home where you're 19-1.
Crusaders with the basketball to start it off, and Garcia right away taking it strong to the hoop on Romer, and Roy Garcia his 6th point, and the lead extended to 3.
That's a set play. They started it the same way last night, but they did it from the right side. This time you go down the left side. Garcia's too strong.
Both teams with the same starting 5 that began this contest. Galloway working inside with the left hand.
Galloway really knows how to find the gaps and the weaknesses in the defense. Also moves well without the basketball. He'd prefer to have it on the perimeter, but he knows how to work within the 3-point line.
Garcia pulls up from 15. Gilbert with the board.
Miller with the basketball. Terrific first half. 7 assists for Mike Miller.
Galloway working inside with the right hand. Can't hit it. Goralski, though, with the offensive board and the putback. Can't get it. Gilbert working inside. Gets a 3rd opportunity, and Vaughn Gilbert gives the lead back to the Pilots.
I'm sure if the Pilots looked at that 17-13 rebounding margin at halftime, they'd understand one thing. We need to attack the glass, and they have to start the second half.
Aaron for 3.
Aaron with his 4th three-pointer of the night. He has a team-high 13 points.
The lead back to Northwest Nazarene. We played about a minute and a half of this second half of the NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship. Miller going inside. Goralski.
Also, part 2 of that game plan, besides hitting the boards, go down low. In Atete, you saw with the reach, he cannot do that. Get position, and if you're not there, give up the hoop, but don't pick up the foul because he means too much to them.
Atete with 2 fouls, as well as Stott for Northwest Nazarene. Miller, the only Bethel player with 2 fouls in this contest. All knotted at 45. Aaron open from 3 again. And hit it this time, and Romer with a board.
Good to see him miss for Bethel College because when he gets in that groove that we talked about, he's tough.
Miller going inside to Gilbert, back to Miller.
Vaughn Gilbert at 6'8" has the size where you think you have to defend and worry about the shot, but again, he thinks pass first. And Miller slicing. Gilbert gives it up. That's a nice 2-man game there.
The give and go works to perfection for the Pilots. Atete working inside, gets the bucket and draws the foul.
Amico Atete at times has an unorthodox offensive attack. Sometimes he's a little bit elbowy, a little bit angly, if you will, but he gets the entry pass. And I thought a silly foul. Miller came over late. Again, you concede. You got to play smart within the confines. If Miller gives up the basket, you don't have the crowd come up with that surge, and you don't let Atete start to get into his rhythm.
Atete with 8 points, make it 9 for the 6'5" senior from London, England.
He's an 80% free throw shooter in the tournament, 77% on the year. He's not afraid.
He's really stepped it up over his career. He was an atrocious free throw shooter when he first came to Northwest Nazarene, but he's really worked hard at it. Goralski working his way inside.
Atete on the high side, Heron down low, but rather than setting up for defensive pressure, Heron goes for the steal, which gives the easy basket. You need to stay put and wait for the defense to come help you out a little bit.
Pilots back on top by one as Atete works inside. He'll draw the foul on Goralski. 2 shots coming to Amico Atete as Jody Goralski picking up his first personal.
Atete, when he gets the basketball down low, he doesn't turn to his right and fade away. Sometimes he turns right and then angles left. Here's the turn, he tries to angle in, and it's really the footwork. He's got such great quick feet that it's tough to stay with him, and he knows his own moves obviously better than anybody on the floor defensively for Bethel, the first time they've seen Amico Atete.
You just can't coach quickness in a big guy like that. Big guys from Bethel haven't seen quickness like this out of a center guy. Atete doing it offensively now for the Crusaders as he has 11 points.
He still needs to stay out of that third foul for another 3 or 4 minutes so he can maintain some aggressiveness the latter part of this second half.
Gilbert pulls up from 13, gets the roll.
I'm pleasantly surprised by Vaughn Gilbert tonight. 13 points. Remember, 14 was his tournament high. He's been averaging nearly twice as many rebounds as points, but tonight he's really stepping up.
Gives Bethel the lead at 51-50. Atete looking to move inside. The ball rolled off of Atete. Atete saying went off Romer. Turnover will give it back to Bethel and a chance to extend the lead. We've played just over 3.5 minutes of this second half.
Looks like a case of, let me think about it for a second, and the official calling it the other way.
Goralski getting the pass. That was meant for Galloway, but it went right through his hands to Goralski, and Goralski now with 16 points in the lead at 3 for Bethel, matching their largest of the night.
Excuse me, after the pass, a little smile because it was good bait for Bethel on the carom.
Aaron. Shoemaker goes inside, ball knocked away by Goralski.
This is where you're in trouble. You may not have the numbers defensively. Bethel loves to push it.
Gilbert loses the basketball to Garcia. Garcia almost like a goalie under the basket there. Aaron is open for 3.
Open for a heartbeat and makes you pay for it. Shoemaker gives it up, and with the defender running at him, Aaron, the high arcing three-pointer that reigns in.
Shoemaker with the foul on Miller. You get the feeling Chad Heron is feeling it tonight. 5 3-pointers matching his tournament high, and he ties it up at 53. Foul on Tony Shoemaker of Northwest Nazarene, his first personal, and we'll take a timeout. 15:26 remaining in the second half of play. We're tied at 53. Montgomery Madness is back as we are tied at 53. That last foul called on Tony Shoemaker, and a good reason why right there.
Shoemaker with the right hand got all basketball, but the left hand on the back of Miller on the drive. That's the reason for the foul.
Inbounds going into Gilbert, and the shot clock for some reason went off. Even though it was set at 35, the buzzer went off, and that threw everyone off, so they'll re-inbounds.
It's a break for NNC, forcing Bethel to take it inbounds again, where you may be able to create a steal or cause a turnover. Look for Gilbert on the inbounds. He got it again there. He's basically their main option.
3-point field goals. The advantage to NNC. Chad Heron with 5 of those 7 3-pointers, and that's kept the Crusaders in the basketball game.
Coming in, NNC making 8 threes a game, and there's Gilbert again.
Gilbert on the inbounds, can't hit it that time. Rebound, though, to Swanson as it was knocked away. Crusaders had the basketball, and it was knocked away, and Swanson taking advantage of the gift.
That is a gift. Looked like Heron had a chance to squeeze the basketball, but didn't.
Heron for another 3.
That's what they call in a groove.
The rainmaker is falling for Chad Heron as he gives the Crusaders the lead of 56-55.
That's his 7th 3, is it not? 6-3, but 3 in the second half already.
Swanson penetrating inside. The foul will be called on Garcia. 6'1" junior from Grandview, Washington, picking up his first foul.
We said Garcia and Galloway in the beginning. Garcia there hunched over. It is now Garcia and Swanson. That's a terrific matchup. A little bigger for Garcia. Swanson a little bit quicker and a little craftier.
Garcia doing a great job on Galloway, as Galloway coming in averaging 25, has just 7, but Goralski free inside one more time going over Stott. It doesn't matter who the Crusaders put on Jody Goralski, the All-American. He has 18 points.
You can't score that easily off an inbound, but Bethel is. Nice execution, setting picks and looking for the open man.
Tete will draw the foul on Goralski. Block will come before the shot. See if they count the bucket. Referee Bernie Jenkins says no basket, and that's the right call. The foul going on Goralski will be his second.
And Tete was nearly at the free throw line, ready to complete the three-point play, but you can't fool the officials. Good communication at Weidenbach. May not like it.
And Weidenbach in his 4th season, he's been to the national tournament every year as the head coach of these Crusaders. The Final Four the last 3 years. An outstanding job here in Nampa. Heron for another 3.
I knew that 7 would come about. I was just ahead of myself. There is the 7th of the night for Chad Heron.
Swanson penetrating to the bucket. Ball knocked away and stolen by Garcia.
Great strong hands by Garcia to take it away from Swanson.
Heron will try it again. Can't hit that one, but Atete working inside. Gets the bucket and draws the foul.
It's the three-point play the old-fashioned way, by earning it. Crashing the offensive glass. Atete really being in the right place, because that should have been Bethel's basketball.
You're getting a good idea, folks, of what Montgomery Madness is all about. Atete drawing the foul on Galloway.
Atete surrounded by 3 pilots, but the ball fell into his hands, and it was Galloway who reached and grabbed the arm. Atete strong enough to complete the three-point play.
14 points for Amico Atete, the lead, the largest of the night for the Crusaders at 5. 62-57. Swanson nearly losing the basketball, but able to get it to Galloway. Can't hit the 3, but he follows his shot, works his way inside, he'll draw the foul. Great effort by Mark Galloway.
And that's fundamental play. Galloway trying to get in the offensive flow, because Galloway's had an awfully tough night. Only 7 points for Galloway when he was averaging 25 in the first 4 games of this tournament. Takes a long shot. Long shots produce long rebounds, and he followed the basketball, which is a smart play.
Galloway will go to the line, a very effective free throw shooter, 75% for the year. The foul was called inside on Roy Garcia. That's his second.
That stops a 6-0 run for NNC.
Galloway hitting just 1 of 2. As Heron able to come up with it for the Crusaders.
And this is where the tempo, you need to get an open shot unless you're Heron.
Stott going strong to the hoop. Lost the ball on the jam, but Tamaja up with it for the Crusaders. And Tamaja will be fouled by Galloway along the baseline. Galloway picking up his second personal.
And Heron right now, or rather Stott, talking things over the official. I think that Gilbert got a piece of that basketball on the drive. Here's the strong drive by Stott, and from behind, actually maybe a piece of the arm, not much contact, still trying to flush that basketball.
NNC leading it by 4, just over 13 minutes remaining in the second half. Garcia tried to dish it inside. Atete comes up with a shot blocked by Gilbert, and there's Stott for the follow.
What a great defensive play by Gilbert. And the hustle by Stott, really right place again for NNC.
The lead at 6, 64-58. Lob pass inside, knocked away by Atete.
It's not a smart pass. Double team with Atete helping out on the weak side to come around and make the good play.
Garcia getting it to Tamaja. They're looking for Heron, though. Atete gets it inside to Garcia, tried to dish it back out, but he's able to retrieve the basketball. You see an idea of how strong Garcia is. Heron will try the 12-footer. Can't hit that one. Too close that time. Tamaja knocking the ball away from Galloway. Battle for the loose ball, and Heron coming up with it. We're going to have a foul called on Bethel's Rico Swanson. Wow, what a turn of events.
That's teamwork. Again, like football, you got to get down and get dirty. The quick hands by Tamaja. Look at him get after it. Then Swanson gets dirty. So does Stott. Finally, Heron picks it up, and it's the foul on Swanson, number 11, on top of Tamaja.
12:21 remaining in the second half. NNC on top of Bethel by 6. Montgomery Fieldhouse faithful going crazy as their Crusaders leading this national championship game 64-58. Chad Herron taking a well-deserved rest. 7 3-pointers, 22 points overall to lead the Crusaders. Garcia blocked by Gilbert going inside, and Garcia coming down a little bit gimpy on that ankle.
7 3-pointers, tournament record set this year by Eric Klein is 10 3-pointers in a single game. Herron challenging that with 12-12 to play.
See how Garcia is able to respond with that ankle. He's shaken up a little bit. Atete, ball knocked away by Galloway. Fight for the loose ball. Atete coming up with it, and he will come up, and that will be ruled a timeout. As a timeout was called on the NNC bench, the Bethel players screaming that it was a traveling violation on Atete when he came up, but they ruled, the officials do, that the timeout was called prior to that. Wow, what a turn of events.
That is a big turn of events. For Amico Atete, you can't come up from the ground without having a pivot foot established and gain a pivot foot. That becomes a walking call, but obviously what we couldn't tell there was when the timeout was called and by whom on the court. Smartly, one of the NNC players signaling to an official, let's get a quick timeout. You save yourself a turnover and retain possession.
They will retain possession with 20 seconds on the shot clock, 12:06 to go in this second half. NNC leading at 64-58. Great ball game thus far, and the crowd really into it, carrying NNC right now as we take another look.
Look at Tamangia, the presence of mind to tap the basketball to Atete, and on your right, Garcia there in the middle of your picture had been signaling the timeout prior to Atete with the basketball standing up in what would be a walk. It was denied because of the presence of mind. There you go, the leadership of Garcia.
You can see Bethel's Miller coming in and saying there was a walking violation. He was absolutely correct, but the timeout granted to Garcia before the violation.
Your comment about Garcia, a little tender on the ankle. He was a little bit gingerly walking away after the block by Gilbert. For Gilbert, that's his third block. He already is in the midst of a double-double. 15 points and 10 rebounds for Vaughn Gilbert.
Got a good look there at Mike Lightfoot in his 8th season at Bethel College. Done an outstanding job with this program. A Bethel graduate and an inductee into the Bethel Hall of Fame this past year. Tamangia makes such a contribution for NNC off the bench. Shot clock inside of 5. Garcia will try a 3. Can't hit it, and here comes Swanson on the break. Pilots coming the other way. Galloway going for the layup. Can't hit it, but there's Swanson for the tap. He can't hit it. NNC coming the other way. Wow, what a huge series that was.
Galloway gets out with the best of him, a thoroughbred for Bethel, but he couldn't finish, and there were 5 NNC players, just 2 Bethel pilots. Transition defense.
Ball knocked away from Atete as Garcia an ill-advised pass. Swanson coming the other way. Can't hit the shot, and we're going to have a foul on Shoemaker. Foul on Tony Shoemaker, his second.
Great job by Swanson to be aggressive and force the action. Swanson off the dribble. Shoemaker came over late, and if you take a drop right there and fall to the floor, I think you have a better chance of getting the call, but when you just kind of slide away from the contact, get called for it.
Swanson hitting the free throw, 1 for 3 from the line tonight.
Mike, what a big semifinal, what a big Final Four he's had. 20 points off the bench on Monday night. Already now 12 points, go along with a couple assists. 5'10" freshman, a redshirt freshman.
Just a freshman, that's the scary thing. Opponents of Bethel will be looking at him for the next 3 years. Herron checking back into the lineup for Northwest Nazarene. Atete working inside on Goralski.
See what I mean? When he gets the basketball, he turns around and goes to his left rather than a fadeaway. He likes to use that move.
16 points for Atete, the lead at 6 for NNC. Galloway looking to create. Goes for the 15-footer. Can't hit it. Tamangia with the rebound.
Strong rebound there. Miller trying to get a piece of it, but Tamangia held on.
Shoemaker, who's been fairly quiet tonight after a big tournament coming in. Leading scorer for the Crusaders in this tournament coming in. Herron another 3. Can't hit that one, and Gilbert with a rebound.
The knuckleball, why not for Chad Herron after a 7 for 11, now 7 for 12.
He may have forced that one a little bit, and that's one thing you have to guard against is the force, taking your team out of their offense.
But what he's done is stretch the defense a little bit.
Goralski working inside. Strong can't hit it, and Atete with the rebound. Goralski looking for the foul, and I think he had a point.
Looked like he was hammered and ridden a little bit as well. It was a 1-on-3. He got the worst of it and comes away empty-handed, no foul.
Mike Lightfoot saying that same thing to the referees as they go down the floor. Shoemaker working on Swanson. Great matchup there. Taminga working over Galloway. Can't hit it, but there's a Tete for the loose ball, and he'll draw the foul inside on Swanson.
NNC right now with this 6-point lead, and basically it's come from the extra effort. The hustle, getting after it, the loose balls, second chance opportunities. Miko Atete has been a big factor in a lot of it. We know Heron's three-pointers obviously energizing this crowd and this team. I thought that Taminga might have forced the action a little bit. The missed shot, the hustle by Atete, the hammer by Swanson right there, but a smart foul because you don't give up a chance at a three-point play.
But Atete has converted already a couple of times tonight. Atete now 7 of 7 from the free throw line.
He established a tournament-high 13 free throws in 16 attempts during an early round game, and a perfect night so far from the line.
18 points for Atete. He averages just over 16 a contest. The lead at 8 for Northwest Nazarene. As we approach the 9.5-minute mark remaining. Galloway for 3, and he hits it.
Senior wants to get involved. Galloway, he's on the verge of establishing, well, he'll be second all-time in scoring at Bethel. Over 2,600 points in his career. This guy's a legitimate scorer.
Showed it there. He's been fairly quiet tonight, though, but Bethel needs him now. Stott driving inside. Can't hit the bucket. Obermeyer with the rebound.
Looked like Stott short-armed that a little bit. Wasn't aggressive with the shot.
He may have gotten hit by Obermeyer going up on that one, too. Miller driving inside. Can't hit the bucket. They will call the foul on Heron, who can't believe the call. Heron picking up his first personal.
I'm in agreement because Miller on the drive used the left arm to push off with Heron in defense backing up.
Garcia checking back into the lineup, coming in for Taminga. 9:02 remaining. It's a 5-point lead for Northwest Nazarene as Mike Miller, the 6'4" junior from Goshen, Indiana, will go the line.
He's money from the line. This is a guy that is shooting 89% on the year. In the tournament, only 85. Only. He entered this season with over 40 free throws made, went up to the high 40s. Just a tremendous shooter at the line.
68-65 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. Heron for 3. Can't hit that one. And Swanson with the rebound. The little guy getting it.
This is where Heron needs to stay within the realm and within his range.
Miller couldn't handle the pass. Nearly winning the bucket. NNC comes away with a turnover.
What I mean by that is once he's out of a groove sometimes, make some bad decisions. You don't want to force it. He's still shooting well. I think 7 for 14 now from 3.
Shoemaker tried to kick it out, but knocked out of bounds by Swanson.
A very quiet game for Shoemaker. 3 points when he came in averaging 20, but at any moment, he can pick it up offensively.
He and Galloway going at it. Good matchup to keep your eye on. 24 in white, 32 in blue.
Again, what Heron's done is stretch the defense a little bit. You put him on a wing and Atete down low, you might be able to create a mismatch.
Heron, another 3. Way off that time. And he may have lost the stroke. He's missed 3 in a row from three-point land as we hit the 8-minute mark remaining.
NNC man-to-man the entire ball game. Bethel at one point showed that trapping zone defense, but on a skip pass they got burned with a three-pointer and they haven't gone back to it.
Galloway, shot clock inside of 10. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Galloway baseline. Can't hit it. Battle for the loose ball. Atete coming down with it. You can see the defensive presence at Vaughn Gilbert. Enrico Swanson make. You see Swanson with the turnover there. Going the other way with the left hand.
And Emiko Atete limping a little bit at half court. I thought that he needed to pick up the dribble. Great hustle right now by Swanson. The dive.
That way. Swanson turning things into a one-man gang as he gets the ball back. Ill-advised shot, tip, no good. Gilbert over the back of Atete, and he gives Bethel the lead.
It's all been created because of extra effort. I thought that they got away with an offensive foul there on the glass, but the officials letting them play. Swanson, the catalyst, with the 2 steals and the sweet layup.
Physical play starting to pick up. You see time remaining. Bethel retaking the lead at 69-68. Shoemaker for 3.
At any moment, it just so happens that he comes back and gets himself back in it.
Clutch shooting from Tony Shoemaker, and he gives the Crusaders a 2-point lead.
There's some tired players on the floor right now, Swanson and Shoemaker.
5 games in 7 days. It'll tax anyone. Obermeyer working inside on Atete, and he walked with it. Turnover will give it back to Northwest Nazarene. 6:22 remaining in our second half of this NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship. Northwest Nazarene on top of Bethel, 71-69. Intensity picking up on behalf of Rico Swanson, and watch the play at the other end.
Highlight video for Swanson, and that was after the steal at half court, and following that whirly bird layup, he came back and went vertical, or
and made
rather
another
horizontal,
steal.
And got another steal. Vertical as well.
Yeah, vertical, horizontal. He's just making the plays, period. Stott working inside.
That time Stott goes a little bit stronger, doesn't short arm it. It's back to a 4-point lead for NNC.
A quiet 10 points for Trevor Stott tonight. Goralski and Atete really working inside. Galloway working his way free. Blocked by Atete. Gets it back out to Gilbert, who's open. He can't hit the shot. Atete with the rebound. Taking care of the basketball, I'm sure a topic of discussion in the Northwest Nazarene huddle after that last series. Number 24 for Bethel, Mike McBride, a 5'11 senior from Bourbon, Indiana, into the contest now. He's guarding Garcia of NNC. Shoemaker working in. Galloway with the board.
A lot of contact right there created by Shoemaker. He doesn't get the call.
Miller to Goralski. They go back into Goralski. Ball slapped away by Stott, but he'll pick up the personal foul.
You know, that's a smart foul for a couple of reasons. Goralski led the entire country in field goal percentage this year. 71% from the field. That's amazing. 70 plus in this tournament. And it's not Atete, it is Stott. Personal foul number 3, but it looked like Goralski had the position to score right there if you don't foul him. I think 71% somewhat amazing from the field. I don't care who you're playing. Every 10 shots you take, you're making at least 7. That's awfully productive.
Over the course of a season, I'd be lucky to do it in a game. Goralski can't hit the second free throw, but Gilbert another rebound, his 14th of the night. Miller for 3, can't hit it. There's Swanson inside. Battle for the loose ball, and Tamajov with it. Ball knocked out of bounds by Galloway. It'll remain Northwest Nazarene ball as the action getting hairy.
In the semifinals on Monday night, it became very physical in the middle part of the ball game.
Gilbert and Tamaja having a few words after Gilbert shoves Stott aside. Temper starting to rise a little bit. 73-70 in favor of Northwest Nazarene.
They're letting them play right now, especially on the offensive glass for Bethel. They're really banging. Bethel in the second half has taken that rebounding edge, out-rebounding NNC by 6 rebounds.
Referees may have to take control of this thing as it is getting awful physical. Swanson knocking the ball away from Garcia and picking up the personal for Swanson, his 3rd.
Swanson has terrific elevation on the other end of the court. Offensive glass, he really got up. Nearly got the steal on Garcia. Watch the quick hands right here of Swanson. Garcia goes up, knocks the ball away, but you get a little piece of hand as well.
8th team foul on Bethel. Roy Garcia going to the line for 2 shots. 16 fouls on NNC, so both teams will be shooting free throws down the stretch.
Garcia in the tournament, 7 for 7, just what you'd expect and want from your point guard and a guy that's controlling the flow late in the game.
7 points for Garcia, make it 8. And the lead extended to 5 for Northwest Nazarene as we're under 5 minutes to play.
Crunch time, got to take care of the basketball, have to make your free throws, make smart decisions, and come meet the basketball.
Galloway from way out. Can't hit the shot. Battle for the loose ball. Tete with the rebound. You can see Gilbert. He just hangs around waiting for the opportunity to make the steal. And Shoemaker turns it over with the double dribble. The pressure forces the turnover.
And it was not pressure initially. It was just smart defensive play by Gilbert. He hung out and waited for Atete to give up the basketball, and then they had a near trap going with the presence of Miller, and Shoemaker couldn't hang on.
No one coming back to meet the basketball for Northwest Nazarene either. Key turnover gives it back to Bethel.
Why not? Vaughn Gilbert on the inbounds.
Pilots with an opportunity to draw within 3, possibly 2. Galloway hits the 3.
Atete has to come out right there. Nice pick by Goralski. That's a big guy to get around, and Tamangia couldn't. Atete needs to step out a little further and contest that shot, but Galloway showing why he's the all-time leading scorer, second rather, at Bethel.
14 points for Galloway. Pilots trailed by 2. Swanson with the steal. And Tamangia beats him down the floor. What a great hustle play by Bob Tamangia.
The intangibles that he provides. You don't coach that kind of hustle. He just is a smart player. Beat him to the basketball.
And he does not quit. He and Gilbert collide inside. Atete working inside. Gets the bucket and draws the foul. What a huge turn of events right there. Tamangia with the steal. NNC comes down the other end, and Atete with a chance for a 3-point play.
Here's Atete. He was somewhat surprised nobody was there, and Miller gets a piece of him. That's not a smart foul. Tamangia unloaded on somebody coming through a pick.
Gilbert
wasn't happy, and Galloway was commenting, this is where it got so physical last night, and same way tonight.
Atete hitting the free throw. That's the second 3-point play. He's taken advantage of a foul by Miller, and he gives NNC a 5-point lead. 3:42 remaining in this contest. Northwest Nazarene leading Bethel 78-73. This entire timeout at Montgomery Fieldhouse on the campus of Northwest Nazarene College as their Crusaders leading Bethel Pilots by a score of 78-73. Excitement just all through this building right now, as it'll be Bethel basketball out of bounds. Everyone lined up in the free throw situation, but Atete had already shot the free throw.
Yeah, you can't fool 3 officials. Maybe 1. I think you'd have trouble fooling all 3. Looking for that 4-point play, you don't get it.
Less than 3:40 remaining. The Pilots trail it by 5. Miller tried to go down low to Goralski, knocked out of bounds by Garcia. Other Crusaders, 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Mike Lightfoot, outstanding coach, 234 wins in 8 seasons at Bethel. Garcia knocking it out of bounds once again as they try to go to Gilbert. What a surprise that is off the inbounds play.
That's the number 1 option, because at 6'8", once he gets the basketball, they go to Swanson this time. He has a great view of the court and knows what to do with it.
Miller, kick it back to Swanson, who will create. Swanson goes up, can't hit the bucket, but does draw the foul on Shoemaker. Just sheer athletic ability on the part of Swanson with the ability to hang.
Hang and still know what to do. I thought that the foul might have bailed out Swanson. It's a tough shot to make. Driving the key, a little bump, floating in the air and off balance, and you still have to bank it in. The foul bails them out, stops the clock, and gives them a chance not only to score with uncontested, but if they dare go press attack, apply a little full court pressure.
Swanson with 16 points. Make it 17 for Rico Swanson, who averages just 7 a game off the bench, and full court pressure from the Pilots.
And they do go that full court pressure.
Garcia getting it to the middle of the floor. Atete working inside to Stott.
Great job on the press break. You get it to the middle. Shoemaker gives it to Atete, who finds the open Stott, who must be cutting, and he did.
5-point lead for the Crusaders.
See the jump out by Shoemaker to prevent the easy shot by Galloway.
Atete knocking the ball away from Goralski. Pilots ball with 23 seconds left on the shot clock, 2:48 remaining.
4 players with at least 14 points for Bethel. That's nice ability and job of sharing the basketball and guys knowing what to do with it.
Goralski working his way wide open, hits the bucket and draws the foul on Stott. Huge inbounds play for the Pilots as Goralski will have a chance to complete a 3-point play.
That amazes me, especially on an inbounds. You simply switch on the screen and you need to communicate. Watch Goralski right here. Nobody's around, and Stott goes up late. I realize you need to contest that, but on the foul, it's a big-time foul.
Goralski completes the three-point play, the All-American from South Bend. Now with 22 points for the Pilots.
And Stott now has 4 fouls. That's why it's a big foul. You stop the clock, and again, you let them go that press.
80-78 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. Ball knocked away by Swanson. Swanson going up on Garcia. Can't hit the shot, but there's Gilbert on the offensive putback and the foul.
The hands of Swanson again. It looked like Garcia was in position to take a charge, but the body control, the ability to get away from the contact. Here's Swanson taking it in strong. Will it be a charge? No. He gets out of the way on the offensive rebound. Here comes Gilbert at 6'8". He doesn't bring it down, and Stott with the slap. That's his 5th foul. He's got to say goodbye in a very crucial part of the game.
6'5" junior from Kennewick, Washington will check out with 12 points, but it's not his scoring that they will miss. It's his defense and rebounding that will be missed in this final 2:25, as Vaughn Gilbert will go to the line with an opportunity to give Bethel the lead. We are knotted at 80. Chad Herron will check into the lineup for NNC to replace Stott.
Like the rebound in the second half, NNC in the first half +4. In the second half, NNC -10. And Bethel came in a very strong rebounding team, out-rebounding their opponents by 16.5 in this tournament. And they're doing it in the second half. That's their strength.
That's been the difference here in this second half as Gilbert at the line. Can't hit the free throw, but there's Galloway for the rebound. Ball slapped away and stolen by Atete.
What quick hands. Just what the doctor ordered. An 80-80 ball game.
Garcia being hovered by Swanson. Tamaja, who will have to step it up with Stott out, and the foul committed by Galloway away from the bucket. 9 team fouls apiece, and Tamaja will go to the line for a big 1-and-1.
Remember, taking care of the basketball, especially when Swanson is guarding you. Exceptionally quick hands. Mike Lightfoot knows that. He saw his freshman last year practice as a redshirt. This year he comes out and showing that in a national tournament he may be one of the top guards around.
Atete going to the line. They called the foul away from the basketball. They called it on Goralski. I stand corrected. They called the foul on Goralski away from the ball, his 3rd personal. And Atete going to the line where he has been perfect tonight.
Like NNC during the regular season, 69% from the line. In the tournament, they've bumped it up to 79, nearly 80%. That's part of the reason they've won the close ball games.
Swanson going inside. Can't hit the bucket. Atete going for the loose ball. Herron with the rebound for the Crusaders.
Boy, is that a tough miss.
Swanson had the layup and a chance to tie it up, but missed it. See time remaining in this national championship. Shoemaker going all the way to the hoop. Ball stolen away. Gilbert.
Nice job getting back on defense in transition for NNC. You have to be sure with the basketball. Shoemaker needs to take a little better care.
Galloway will look to take it himself. Goes in, can't hit the shot. Atete with a monster rebound. 2 huge series for the Pilots where they couldn't convert.
You need to spread.
NNC with the lead.
You need to spread the attack right now and be sure. Look for the backdoor cut. Come to meet the basketball.
Garcia being pressured by Swanson, and you have to keep your eye out for Swanson every moment.
Best free throw shooter, Shoemaker with the basketball at 87%.
Shot clock at 10. You see the game clock. 2-point lead for Northwest Nazarene. Shoemaker dishing inside. Can't hit the shot, but with the follow! 4-point lead for Northwest Nazarene. Swanson will try a 3. Can't hit it. Galloway with the rebound. He'll go back up and hits it.
Big time rebound. Presence of mind to take it to the hoop. He can score.
A 1.5-second separation between game clock and shot clock. Shoemaker with the ball. NNC leading it by 2. Shoemaker will be fouled by Miller, and a lot of clock being run off there by the Crusaders.
Maybe too much clock. Mike Lightfoot on the sideline, the coach for Bethel, was indicating when Garcia had the basketball, foul him, foul him. It wasn't the case. Garcia's smart enough to give it up to Shoemaker, their best free throw shooter. And last night in this situation, Shoemaker and the Crusaders up one in a 1-and-1 situation, and he had one rim in. It hit the rim and managed to drop in, and it led to the victory.
14.9 seconds remaining. Mike Miller committing the foul. That's his 5th personal. He will have to check out. Shoemaker will go to the line now for 2 shots because it's a 10th team foul on Bethel, 9 team fouls on NNC, but that's a huge foul in the respect that it's a 2-shot foul now instead of the 1-and-1, Sean.
Big foul because you foul the wrong guy. NNC was smart enough to just go Garcia and Shoemaker. I thought maybe you foul Taminga, maybe you foul Garcia. Instead, you send a guy, Shoemaker, who in the tournament, a perfect 10 for 10 from the line.
Romer checking into the lineup. He has been out this entire second half. He comes in with 14.9 remaining.
You need to make at least 1. If it's 2, he makes it a 2-possession ball game.
Shoemaker hitting the free throw. He now has 9 points, but 3 big ones coming down in the last minute of this game.
That tip was unbelievable.
Huge. Biggest shot of the game by far. 4-point lead for Northwest Nazarene. And Bethel will call timeout.
What a terrific ball game. I thought it would be tough to duplicate the semifinal win for NNC over #1 Northern State. But this game has lived up to top billing. Number 5 in the country, NNC. Number 3, Bethel, trying to become #1. And it's been a dogfight.
It's been a great college basketball game, but the Bethel Pilots have their backs against the wall now. They trail it by 4 with 14.9 seconds remaining. It's going to be tough for them, but certainly that is an eternity as far as time is concerned, because with the offensive prowess that they have, they've shown the ability to get the quick hoop and their defensive ability to make the steal and force turnovers.
The timeout for NNC strictly to set up their defense, but what it allows Bethel to do, as you see Mike Lightfoot, is set up their offensive attack. I'm not sure whether you go to half court and call a timeout, but I know you need to score here. Whether it's a 3, whether it's a 2, you have to score. But some clubs are so resigned to taking that 3 and getting a little more of that margin right away. More importantly than scoring that 3 is I think you just have to score.
And if you're NNC, you do not want to foul. You don't want to stop the clock, nor set up a 2-shot situation. With the next foul, it will be 2 shots for Bethel.
Like in this contest, NNC, number 69% on the year, 89% in this championship game, 16 for 18 from the free throw line, including a Tete, 11 for 11.
The senior coming up big. 86-82 in favor of Northwest Nazarene. Time ticking off. Pilots need points. Swanson will go inside, hits the bucket and draws the foul. Unbelievable.
Shoemaker can't believe it. 24 right there. He was guarding Swanson. And as you mentioned and alluded to, the last thing you want to do is foul anybody. Not only do they get the basket, they have a chance at a 3-point play.
That's unbelievable. Swanson hitting the bucket and drawing the foul on Shoemaker, his 4th, as he goes up, and Swanson now has an opportunity to draw Bethel within 1 point with 7.9 seconds remaining. I mean, if you could have drawn up a worst-case scenario if you're an NNC fan, that was it.
Coach's nightmare. You stop the clock, you let them, if there's a made free throw, set up their press attack. You know they'll foul. For NNC, they'll have to get the ball inbounded to the right person, whether it's Shoemaker, whether it's a Tete. But I thought there wasn't a foul there. I thought that Shoemaker came in between the 2 arms of Swanson, but because he came down and followed through, it looked like contact, and perception, obviously, more important than reality sometimes. And now with only 8 seconds left, a steal and a basket, and this ball game, anything can happen.
See the overflow crowd here at Montgomery Fieldhouse. They are standing out in the aisles. They couldn't get a seat inside of this gymnasium.
How sweet is Swanson, the freshman who just scored the basket? He's looking at his tournament high 20th point. He had 20 in the semis. He has 19 right now. He also has 5 steals, 5 rebounds. He's had a complete ball game. And to produce down the stretch.
Now a scenario for you. We had this last night. Swanson going to the line for one shot. You trail it by 2. Does he go up there to intentionally miss?
He goes up to make it. You don't take away points if you have a chance to cut into that 2-point deficit.
See the statistics for Swanson, as you alluded to, Sean. Interesting to see with Gilbert's rebounding ability whether or not he will try to miss. He hits it, drawing the Pilots within 1. Shoemaker with the ball, getting it up court, and we're going to have a foul called on Goralski. Goralski drawing the foul with 5.9 seconds remaining, his 4th personal, but more importantly for NNC, Shoemaker will go to the line for 2 shots. But this game far from over, plenty of time remaining at 5.9 seconds remaining, and even if Shoemaker hits both free throws, it's still a 3-point game.
Unbelievable finish, Ed Weidenbach. He's obviously a little bit concerned. It's better to be up 1 than down 1, but still time to score if you're Bethel with just under 6 seconds to play.
Shoemaker hitting a huge free throw there.
That's big time pressure free throw shooting. National championship on the line, and Bethel will call a timeout to try and freeze the sophomore Shoemaker.
5.9 seconds remaining. Northwest Nazarene on top of Bethel by a score of 87-85. Also give both coaches a chance to regroup and set up for a final shot.
One point we made at halftime, if Bethel's shooting percentage came down under 50%, as they've shot over 50% for the year, 53% as a team, that NNC might find themselves with a better chance to win the game. Bethel shooting 48-49%. NNC's created 42% in the second half. That's been a big stat. You have to give credit to Heron stepping up with those 7 3-pointers, but it's going to come down to who can make the free throws and who will make the best decision with the basketball.
The chalkboard going empty right now from Coach Ed Weidenbach, as he is no doubt telling his ball club, Tony hits the free throw, you cannot foul in that situation. But do you foul and prevent the 3-point shot? Because if you're up 3, the last thing you want to do is give up a 3 and send it to overtime.
That might be a legitimate option. If he makes the free throw and you're up 3, the next foul by NNC will give Bethel 2 shots at the free throw line. It will be their 10th foul. But if you foul, I have to look at what the clock would read. 6 on the clock. If you foul with about 2 seconds, I don't like the foul opportunity. We'll see what Ed Weidenbach does. I don't want to stop the clock, and I don't want to put anybody on the line where you have a weird carom or a weird rebound, you get a tip in, and all of a sudden this ball game goes into overtime. I elect to let the clock run out.
Tony Shoemaker, 6'1" sophomore from Kennewick, Washington, going to the line.
13 for 13 in the tournament from the free throw line.
NNC shooting outstanding from the line tonight, 89% from the free throw line. Shoemaker, perfect. 3-point game. The Pilots will have to get a 3. Galloway coming down the floor, pulls up for 3, hits it! Hits it at the buzzer! Hits it at the buzzer, and we're going to overtime!
Unbelievable shot by Galloway. Great defense by Taminga. And isn't that fitting for a national championship? Neither team wants to let this one slip away. Both trying to take it from the other.
Unbelievable. Mark Galloway, the 6'3" senior from Plainfield, Indiana. He is the hero as he sends this national championship game to overtime. 5 minutes of basketball still remain. We are all knotted up at 88.
I bet there'd be some fans out there and fans here at Montgomery Fieldhouse thinking about the foul now. If you foul right here before he gets the shot up instead, just outside that 3-point line, the hand in his face, and you have to watch it fall straight through the bottom of the net. Atete in disbelief with the basketball, looking up at the clock, which read 0.
The Pilots looked like they were out of it there, but Mark Galloway, you can never count him out. The gutsy senior coming up with a huge 3-point play. He finishes regulation with 19 points, but the big 3 coming at the buzzer to send this NAIA Division II National Championship to overtime. And now we go to overtime, Sean. You have to look at fouls. Shoemaker for Northwest Nazarene with 4 fouls. Stott has already fouled out with 5. Meanwhile, for Bethel, you have Goralski with 4 fouls and Swanson with 3.
And Miller is already out of the game with his 5 fouls, so each team has lost a player, and each team with a very important starter with 4 fouls. I think that really rips at the emotion of NNC. It seemed like they were in the position to win the national championship. The foul by Shoemaker on Swanson opened the door a little bit, but still, if you don't have a knockdown three-pointer, oh, what a shot by Galloway.
Just a gutsy shot at the buzzer. Gilbert and Atete will jump it up. Atete controlling the tap. And the Crusaders will get first crack at it here in this overtime. Heron, who's been very quiet in these last few minutes, but remember, it was his 7 3-pointers that got NNC in position. Atete working inside.
Guarded by Goralski, who has those 4 fouls.
You can imagine the Crusaders will look to get it inside. They do again to Atete, working his way in and hits the bucket.
NNC offensively right there. 4 on the perimeter. Atete in the paint. They're going to their man.
Swanson, ball knocked away, but Gilbert retrieves it. Swanson inside to Goralski. Goralski hits the bucket and draws the foul. Foul's going to go on Roy Garcia, his 3rd, but Jody Goralski, a huge play.
Part of the reason that shooting percentage for Goralski is so high, he gets great position. He's got the size. He also knows what to do with the basketball, and the left-hander had a very steady night from the field.
24 points for the 6'5 senior from South Bend.
He's 10 for 13 tonight from the field.
Can't hit the free throw, though. Big miss, as it would have given the Pilots the lead. Instead, we are tied at 90. Just when you think this game cannot get any better, Sean, it does. Heron will try a 3. Can't hit it, but Atete fighting for the loose ball with Goralski. No call, and it will go the Pilots' way. Galloway from way outside.
Boy, did that 3-pointer at the buzzer light the fire under Galloway. That's what I mean by a thoroughbred. He gets out and runs and fills the lane and knew what he wanted there. That's about a 28, 29-footer off the dribble.
Galloway doing it all for the Pilots right now. They lead at 93-90. Tamangia working inside, ball knocked away and stolen. Pilots with the basketball.
Really letting them play right now. It's physical. Some tired players. You have to suck it up. Here's where conditioning becomes a factor.
See time remaining in this first overtime.
NNC staying with the man-to-man defense. Tamangia, his hands full.
Gilbert, turn around in the lane, can't hit it. Atete with the rebound.
Swanson, though, the hustle nearly got it on the weak side, coming from underneath the basket at the end.
Both teams very tired right now. You can see the fatigue on both their faces.
Who can execute? Who can take care of the basketball?
Shoemaker will try a 3. Shot is blocked by Romer. Battle for the loose ball. Heron for 3. Can't hit it. And Garcia with the rebound after the tip by Tamangia.
Heron's missed his last 5 3-pointers. He's really cooled off after starting 7 for 11.
Garcia. Tamangia will try a 3. He can't hit it. Atete battling for the loose ball, and it will be NNC basketball as Romer goes down to the floor. 2:22 remaining, and the Crusaders, I think, catching a break, and if you ask Mike Lightfoot, they did.
Right now with fatigue a factor, the legs start to give out a little bit. The long 3-pointer becomes a tougher shot to make. You may want to look inside, try and get Atete more involved.
Shoemaker kicks it to Heron, who's closely guarded by Gilbert. Shot clock at 25. Tamangia will kick it to Garcia. Garcia working his way inside, hits the reverse.
Using the sideline and the underside of the basket, that time as a friend. Tiptoeing a little bit, but presence of mind to work it underneath.
Final 2 minutes, 1-point lead for the Pilots. Swanson turning inside, ball knocked out of bounds by Heron.
Such a quick spin move. Explosive off the dribble.
Mark Galloway, though, has been the man for Bethel. End of regulation and into overtime. He has 22. Goralski works his way open. Shot blocked by Tete, but there's Gilbert for the follow.
And again, the lack of communication on the inbounds play. Nobody switching on the picks and really giving them a good look out of the inbounds. That can't happen.
95-92, Bethel, and Swanson with the steal. He'll go the other way.
Huge steal. Way to read the passing lane by Swanson.
That could be the play of the game right there, as Bethel now with a 5-point lead.
From his stop to start, he's so quick. Looked like Shoemaker thought he could make the pass. You have to come meet the basketball. Garcia didn't, not to his fault there. Give the credit to Swanson, reading the lane and taking it strong.
Rico Swanson, he has just come up huge this entire tournament. 22 points off the bench tonight. In fact, all of the points for Bethel off of the bench. 97-92 in favor of the Pilots. One more look at Rico Swanson.
There's the finish, and that may be the difference in the ball game. Only a minute 23 to play. It went from a chance to cut it to 1 or tie it up to down 5 on an errant pass.
Will be awful tough for Northwest Nazarene to bounce back emotionally now, as they thought they had this game won. 3-point lead, final 5 seconds of regulation. Galloway buries a clutch three-pointer to send it into overtime, and now the Pilots lead it by 5. And if you're NNC, you have to look at getting a bucket in a hurry, whether it's a 2 or 3.
Make the basket. You have to score. That's most importantly. How about Galloway picking it up as well with that bomb from about 28 off the break?
For the Pilots, 4 players over 20 points, led by Gorowski's 24, but Galloway and Swanson with 22 apiece, Gilbert with 21 to go with 16 rebounds.
NNC counters with 5 in double figures, led by Heron, 22. But I mentioned Heron's really cooled off. 0 for his last 5 three-pointers. He has 16 looks tonight from the three-point line. You need a bucket.
Shot clock at 25. Game clock less than a minute 20. Heron will try up, bombs away. Can't hit it, but there's a Tete. Ball taken away by Galloway, knocked away to Shoemaker. Crusaders catch a break there. Tamangia. Shoemaker for 3. Hits it!
Boy, is that a big 3. Perseverance in the hustle by NNC. Nearly the steal by Bethel.
19-second separation between shot clock and game clock. So NNC will get the basketball final time if they come up with a defensive stop.
Have to get a stop.
Galloway inside, ball knocked away and out of bounds by Heron. Bethel looking for a foul. See the bench in the background screaming for a foul on that play as Galloway had the wide open lane.
I thought he was fouled. A no call though in that situation.
17 seconds left on the shot clock. Give it to Galloway. We have a foul away from the ball as Shoemaker and Swanson get tangled up, and that's a huge play right there because Tony Shoemaker's just fouled out for the Crusaders.
Shoemaker trying to plead his case right here. Here's the contact. Swanson trying to come off the screen. And really their arms were tangled up and it looked like in trying to separate. I really think that's a nickel and dimer at this stage in the game with all the physical play there is to affect a ball game. I don't like an official to determine the outcome. And I think on that play, away from the ball, that's an awfully tough call and a tough pill to swallow if you're an NNC fan. If you're a Bethel fan, more power to you. You send the freshman Swanson to the line. How big has he been in the last 5 minutes of the ball game, along with the 5 minutes of overtime?
Todd Shoemaker checking in for NNC. That's Swanson hitting the first free throw. 2-shot opportunity for Rico Swanson. This is a huge free throw here. Of course, this game's far from over, as it was shown in regulation. Swanson hitting both free throws. 99-95 in favor of Bethel. Garcia looking to get Heron free. Heron will try a 3. Can't hit it. Battle for the loose ball. Gorowski gets it out to Galloway. Pilots on the break. Galloway hanging onto the ball, and he will be fouled with 12.9 seconds remaining. And things looking awful bleak for the Crusaders right now as Mark Galloway will go to the line for 2.
What an effort by Bethel College. seemed out of it in regulation, hanging on somehow, and really stepping it up in overtime. Perrin has cooled off. 0 for his last 7 from the three-point mark after starting 7 for 11. Don't mean to sound redundant, but you don't have too many options, knowing that Shoemaker has fouled out, Tony Shoemaker.
Galloway hitting the free throw. Good look right there at Tony Shoemaker, who fouled out of this game. He thought that tip of his late in regulation may have won it, not to mention his free throw shooting, but Galloway, the man for Bethel. 6-point game and the ball thrown away. Turnover. What a careless pass that was on the part of the Crusaders as they give it away with 12.9 seconds remaining.
Isn't that the truth? 13 seconds, plenty of time. You could get a look at the basket, maybe knock down to 3 and make it a one-possession game. I don't think it's time to throw in the towel by any stretch.
Tamaja committing the foul in the backcourt, and Galloway will go back to the line, and if Galloway hits these 2 free throws, the national championship will be coming back to Mishawaka, Indiana, and Bethel College.
Bethel College, a team that was beaten last year in the second round. They had a bye in the first round, lost 78-74 in the second round. But a goal this year was to play hard.
Mark Galloway with that free throw breaking the school record for free throws, hitting the next one and giving Bethel an 8-point lead. They're celebrating on the Pilot bench, 103-95. Garcia will try a 3, can't hit it. Koralski with the rebound, and Swanson with the basketball. Time running down now as Galloway misses the dunk at the buzzer, but it does not matter as the Pilots of Bethel College win the NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship with a 103-95 win in overtime over Northwest Nazarene.
What a fantastic ball game. Excitement throughout, and Bethel College, you better enjoy it. It doesn't happen every year. It's the first time for Bethel College, for Northwest Nazarene. Another frustrating end to a terrific season.
NNC, third straight trip to the Final Four. First time they got into the championship game, and they were so close. It's got to be just a gut-wrenching loss for NNC after having it within seconds of victory. But you have to credit Bethel, and most in particular Mark Galloway. He stepped up big when they needed him most.
Galloway, the senior, he needed, coming into the ball game, 25 points to 26 to establish the all-time scoring record. I think he ends with 24, and if he had knocked down that dunk, that would have given him 26. In fact, he had 26 points. That's a school record for Galloway. What a terrific way to cap off his senior season, and they're enjoying it in good fashion.
Bethel wins it by a score of 103-95. Congratulations to the Pilots as they win the NAIA Division II National Basketball Championship. We'll be back to wrap it up from here at Montgomery Fieldhouse. Congratulations to Bethel. The Pilots are the national champions. Bethel College, the national champions, as they win it in overtime with a dramatic 103-95 victory here at Montgomery Fieldhouse at Northwest Nazarene College. And a very happy coach and player now standing by with Steve Busalaki.
What an incredible basketball game we have just seen here at the Montgomery Fieldhouse. Bethel, the national champion, 1995 NAIA Division II. Let's talk to 2 guys that are very happy. Let's start with head coach Mike Lightfoot. Truly one of the proudest moments in your life, I have to believe.
It's just a tremendous feeling right now. We came in here, a lot of odds against us, 5,000 fans going against us, but our kids just never gave up. That's the tradition, I think, about Bethel College, and I just thank the Lord I've had the opportunity to coach these kids.
You know, the thing that I admire about you guys, it's so loud in here, but yet everybody on your bench was panicking. But you didn't panic, even when everything seemed to be going against you, and I think it carried on to your basketball team.
I had a feeling that we were going to win this game. I didn't know how, but I had a feeling all day that somehow we were going to win this basketball game. I just had to have faith. Mark hit the shot that, was an incredible shot, one you'd always dream about shooting in a national championship game. and he buried it. It was just a great situation. We got in overtime. We just kept it up, and he just played outstanding, as all of our kids did.
Nobody else you wanted to have the ball at that moment, I'm thinking.
You know, we set up a play either for Rico or Mark to bring the ball up the floor. We had Vaughn Gilbert on one end. Mark just saw it, took an opportunity, and buried it. As soon as I left his hand, I knew it was in.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's talk to Mark Galloway about his performance. He's played superb the past 2 nights. Just your immediate thoughts about national champion.
Oh, it's just great. It's great for everyone, you know, that came out here. We really want to do it for the fans, you know, that traveled so far from Indiana. And it's just great to win here. You can hear the crowd. You know, everyone was against us the whole night, but we just kept going, and, you know, it paid off.
Indiana is not the only national champion in Indiana now, are they?
No, sir, they're not. It's just great. It's a great feeling, I'll tell you. Our big men really work hard, and, you know, they just kept trying to give me the ball. You know, my players just kept telling me, you know, take the shot, even though I was off a couple times. They just told me keep taking the shots. I was the third option, but, you know, they left me open, so I went ahead and took it.
I'm thinking you played basketball in your backyard many times, and you thought this is the shot for the national championship, and that dream came to your fruition today.
Yes, sir, it did. Coach, you know, he always talks about in practice, just every shot's the last second shot. Every shot's a winning shot, so you just got to be prepared to take it. And today, you know, I got the open shot, and I guess I just hit it.
If you can sleep tonight, when you lay your head on the pillow, what are you going to think?
I'm just going to thank God for letting us get out here and just letting us play good and just, you know, be persistent. And I really want to thank God for this victory. It's just great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark Galloway, a shot. If you were here, you'll never forget it. And if obviously you watched it, you will never forget it. He will certainly never forget the shot to send the game into overtime. And Bethel comes away with the win. And more importantly, the 1995 NAIA Division II National Championship. But right now, let's send it back up to Mike and Sean.
Thank you very much, Steve. And certainly there's a lot of fans of Bethel College back in Mishawaka, Indiana, watching that know that they will never forget that shot from Mark Galloway, one of the most dramatic shots in the history of this tournament.
Fantastic finish to a fantastic tournament. It's an upset because NNC 19-1 here at Montgomery Fieldhouse this season prior to a stunning upset in overtime. I call it an upset because how tough is it at a national championship in front of this kind of hostile crowd?
You know, Northwest Nazarene just has to feel awful after a loss like that. They had it so close, within 5 seconds of a national championship, but Mark Galloway snatches the victory for Bethel College, and they came up big in the overtime. Great defensive effort, and Mark Galloway continuing to do it on the offensive end for Bethel.
Great balance for Bethel tonight. 4 players with 21 points or more. For NNC, they have 5 in double figures, led by Atete with 25 and 14 boards. Complete ball game, though, by Vaughn Gilbert. Tremendous effort by the freshman Rico Swanson. And if you come down to it, it is a team game, a team concept, and both these teams played their hearts out. It's a shame you can't have a co-championship, but it doesn't happen. The winner to Bethel College.
It lived up to everything you look for in a national championship game, and the 95 national champions are the Bethel College Pilots. Congratulations to them. Final score, the Pilots win it 103-95 in overtime over Northwest Nazarene. Great tournament here in Nampa. We look forward to seeing you again next year here in Nampa, Idaho. For Sean McCall and our entire TCI 10 crew, which has been fantastic throughout this tournament, I'm Mike Boyle saying good night, everybody.